React content is a type of content where the viewer watches someone react to a piece of media, usually with both the reactor and the original content on screen together in some capacity. What makes this genre so controversial at times is the debate over what constitutes a reaction and how much of said reaction is necessary to be considered transformative, meaning the reactor has to add to the content, creating something of their own, or the viewer has to get something from the reaction content that they wouldn't be able to get just by viewing the original content itself. If a reactor is lazy and falls over in the woods, does it still count as a reaction? Hi, welcome to my channel where I discuss the most irrelevant topics, sometimes video essays, sometimes not. I have no idea what I'm doing. Today, I'm talking about the great ReactGate saga of 2022. Normally, I'm of the opinion that drama is mid, and ReactGate especially was but with everything going on, I was feeling a bit nostalgic for the simpler times of a few months ago. If you aren't familiar with any of this or don't know who any of these people are, you have lived a blessed life, my friend. I thought it'd be beneficial to go over the saga in retrospect just to show how much of the drama aspect was caused by unforced errors and miscommunication, because the crux of the issue is pretty straightforward. I'll be weaving in my own takes on React content and doing vibe checks. Online discourse can get pretty heated, so if you're a fan of or dislike any entity I talk about, it's fine. Your feelings are valid. Just don't spread hate. The only L's we're taking today is the L as in love. What really kicked off the latest round of internet discourse into high gear was the Anime MasterChef DMCA meta that occurred on Twitch in January. Because life ain't just about anime, following this, popular creators like Moist Critical and Hasan Piker found themselves in hot water over how they were using YouTube content in their streams, being called out by the likes of DarkViperAU and Exci respectively. YouTube videos being the focus because, let's be real, nobody cares if you read livestream fails or react to some tweets. The chat may complain, but that's not what we're talking about here.
What's the dog?
In early February, GTA speedrunner DarkViper released a 14-page manifesto essay script for a video he was working on entitled How the Reaction Grift Works, where he argues against people who present their first experience of a video as content, doing so with no idea if they have anything of substance to contribute as they haven't seen the content before, calling out specific creators by name and claiming that all reactors are bad people who exploit the content creator working class by profiting off their labor. Oh, and he makes a really bad analogy comparing reactors to yikes. YouTuber man and occasional streamer Moist Charlie took exception to some of these claims. Viper responded to Charlie getting real mad, saying, "You didn't understand what I was saying, bro." Charlie replied, "Yeah, I messed up a bit, but some of your points are still yikes." To which Viper replied, "Thank you, I appreciate the apology. I'm still gonna double down on my analogy. Oh god, how I love my analogies. By the way, we should get together sometime to play GTA Guesser." And then they lived happily ever after. Throughout their back and forth, Charlie's vibes are immaculate, maintaining that neutral baritone silkiness.
Today's breakfast of champions that I'll be feasting on is some cereal with L's.
While explaining clearly what he finds objectionable about DarkViper's manifesto. Even when Moist Charlie gets some things wrong, he cops to that.
I took a bit of an L+ ratio here. There was a lot of things that I got wrong.
And rather than escalating the situation, he seeks to resolve their differences. Truly a masterclass in conflict resolution. DarkViper is big mad, but understandably so. It can be frustrating when you feel as though your arguments are being misconstrued and then spread out with someone with a larger platform, especially if you're very passionate about the topic. Still not a great look coming out so angry.
It's 14 pages!
Becoming even more provocative after the initial inflammatory statements, calling people out by name and then using poor analogies. What were you expecting the response to be? Even if people agree with some of your claims or the sentiments behind it, you're making it unnecessarily harder for yourself. DarkViper does chill out after Charlie responds, so the vibes are recalibrated to good vibes. Really, none of that had to happen. Although I'm sure DarkViper is proud of the work he put into his 14-page manifesto script. It reads like a rough first draft stream of consciousness rather than a polished essay. Without knowing how he speaks, the grammatical choices and sentence structure make the document very difficult to read, and it isn't structured in a way that effectively builds its case. Jumping around from discussions about labor and capitalism, the content creator marketplace, arguments for and against reactors, unsupported claims, and questionable analogies. Now, I'm no Charles Dickens, but as a general rule, you probably shouldn't release
Only spent a day on it.
scripts to the unsuspecting public. I would not release any of my first drafts as they're incomprehensible ass garbage. Somebody proofreading a script might have said, hey, that analogy is unnecessary and only serves to distract from any legitimate criticism you may have of React content, also making it easier for people to dunk on you. It's surprising how chaotic this script turned out to be, considering this wasn't the first time he caused a big stink over React content. From what I've seen, most of DarkViper's regular programming seems structured. So I think if he made the actual video, his ideas would be more refined.
When you start making the video, you realize certain things don't sound right, certain things don't flow very well, and so you construct better examples and you change the script as you go. That script, whatever the video would have been made, the end result would have been different.
Man loves his analogies though. I'm not going to reiterate many specific points rebutting the manifesto, as they've already been covered by Moist Critical and Female Moist Critical. When you strip away all the labor theory of value stuff, there are certain sentiments that are easier to get behind. Maybe leave old Karl Marx to the video essayists analyzing children's media. React content, as he defines it, can be lazy. However, I don't think these larger creators are unfairly exploiting others or stealing views. They are leveraging their popularity.
Well, actually, if you look up the definition of exploitation and then apply it.
Okay, look. It's complicated. Gabby Bell makes a really good point about how not all labor equally translates to the qualitative value of content, especially when it comes to YouTube videos. After making their way to the top, larger creators can get away with less effort because they have a built-in audience of fans who want to watch them do whatever. And if that's the kind of content they want to make, they can do that. I'm not pulling a content cop. It reminds me when rich folk create highly produced music videos, not because they are skilled at music, but because they have the money. This is what lazy React content truly is. Cringy rich people music videos. Amusing to some, debatably harmful to others. But who am I to judge? No matter how you feel about it, ultimately you can just watch something else. A problem that could arise by larger streamers pushing the envelope, so to speak, is if the platform cracks down on certain content being broadcasted, or if advertisers start pulling out. This was a big concern during the MasterChef anime DMCA saga. Pokimane or XQC, they'll be fine. If you're a smaller channel trying to build your profile by using said content in a transformative way, or doing literally anything else, sucks to be you. React harder, I guess. The big kahunas drive the meta to a certain extent, creating incentives within the Twitch landscape to do certain kinds of React content, whether that be the type of reactions or the content being reacted to. The streamers themselves also being incentivized to broadcast longer, either to fulfill contractual obligations or to make more money. Now, whether this drags down the overall quality of the site is one thing. If you're a member of someone's community, you'll watch them do anything and everything all of the time. And since these large streamers bring in the viewers, Twitch will probably look the other way if they can. However, if they aren't responsible with their individual platforms, the rest of the platform could get screwed over as a result. A healthy online ecosystem benefits everyone and creates good vibes all around. Since reacting to things is such a basic human action, the scope of reaction content, or what constitutes a reaction, often becomes muddled, creating confusion, and so people end up talking past each other with their own definitions and criteria. Some may be arguing that all reaction content is bad, when some may be arguing that certain kinds of React content are fine, but it's the lazy ones that are not. Meanwhile, one person's definition of lazy might be seen by another as transformative. I've seen terms thrown around like watch content, lazy reactions, passive reactions, filler content, etc., conflating everything under the umbrella of React content. One could use said murkiness to justify their own positions by arguing against something completely different than what's being discussed, or memeing about it. But I don't like to attribute malice to what simply could be a misunderstanding. I'm feeling generous today. I believe that a lot of this murkiness is exacerbated by the medium and the platform. Since streamers are reacting live to various content, oftentimes they don't offer much in terms of transforming, so they end up just watching said content with their community.
Oh, he's so intimidating, even when he's just cardboard.
Is that a cool thing to do? Being live with your favorite streamer is a large part of what makes the Twitch experience so fun. But the potential drawback is that even with their best intentions, the streamer could do anything while watching content. and that includes nothing, which is all the same to them as they are still live streaming. Do those emotional vibrations you receive while watching Video Game Donkey with your parasocial bestie constitute a transformation? Does their mere presence on screen or feeling like you're sharing something as part of a community matter? Is all that irrelevant because the onus is still on the streamer to do more with the content to make it transformative? Exci, whom I'll get into in a bit, makes a clear argument that yeah, based on principle about reaction etiquette. Because who the hell has time to read about fair use? They don't have a problem with reaction content. It just requires A, a substantive or a significant reaction, and B, proper credit. Basically, don't take the piss. While they address some arguments made in defense of some of the lazier practices, by approaching the issue in this way, it basically sidesteps the back and forth discussion about the effects of React content, since much of that can be chalked up to it depends. There are many variables, known and unknowable. It depends on the video topic, the reactor, the wishes of the original creator, their respective audiences, and how they operate on each platform. Giving exposure is a big one that pops up, or as Hasan puts it,
because they get a fucking fat bump.
And it depends. The type of content being reacted to can vary in quality and can be anything from video essays, documentaries, the news, TikTok compilations, Gordon Ramsay, or this duck. Look how much exposure I'm giving to this duck. It depends which streamer is watching what video topic and if there is any overlapping interests with their audience. For instance, Asmongold can bring up data showing how his reactions had a positive impact on certain channels, but an Asmongold viewer could be more interested in that specific content rather than if he reacted to some other random video. It depends on the size of the original creator and how many views they already have. Someone like Hasan or XQC reacting to my content would have a greater impact on my profile than if they watched the latest Channel 5 with Andrew Callahan. The overall point being, much of this "it depends" can be mitigated if one were to follow simple reaction etiquette. And to be fair, many streamers do, both on Twitch and other platforms. If reactions are re-uploaded to YouTube, they are usually edited and contain links to the original content. Are they taking views away from the original video, or does the reaction serve as promoting the original content? It depends. Nobody knows. One difference I've noticed between the live streaming React content and the regular React content that's posted on YouTube is that the latter is an already pre-packaged piece of pickled pepper content precisely produced for that purpose. It's not a genre that appeals to me, but I've seen it done well with highly edited videos that contain plenty of commentary throughout. The original content tends to be visually or orally distorted to avoid copyright ID, so even with some of the lazier reactions, you're still getting a different experience than merely watching it on your own. The live stream re-uploads usually don't do this, so they can get copyright claim. However, that's not really an issue for streamers, as unlike their YouTube counterparts, this React content serves the greater function of promoting their eCeleb brand and funneling viewers to their Twitch channel. In essence, they are shoveling out more content and padding out their already extensive catalog. But these clips can also make their content more accessible and easier to digest. You don't have to sift through hours of live streaming. They're in a position where they can pay editors to do this or crowdsource through their community. The Hasan Abi Industrial Complex is stronger than ever.
That's good. It's enough slices!
Lord have mercy. I understand that nobody can get by without some help. Many discoveries have been made, not denying that. But these bigger streamers aren't the gatekeepers of content, benevolent or otherwise. Did nobody else think it was weird that Ludwig's video about succeeding on YouTube involved him creating content that appealed to his streamer friend Miskiff and then donating money to Miz just to get noticed? Nobody else?
And all it came down to was good content, good thumbnailing, good titling, and also, admittedly, $50. Ms. Kiff, come on.
With so many variables, these blanket justifications for or against the effects large streamers have by reacting to content might just be irrelevant. If they're going to do it anyways, is there a way for them to do it without taking the piss?
My man said react harder.
Baby, keep it lit. Baby, who you with? I can't tell the time, all these diamonds on my wrist. Can't tell if I'm rapping or
Bro, are you fucking insane, dude?
That's where we come to the next part in this tale of reactions. If you previously thought that ReactGate was L+ ratio D-tier drama, buckle your seatbelts because it's about to get mid. A few months ago, left-wing commentator and himbo rights activist Hasan Piker used a video of Exci's during one of their broadcasts. Jay took exception to this reaction, feeling that Hasan failed to transform the content and responded in a video/live stream satirizing Hasan's reaction while also laying out their simple reaction etiquette. In what would be the beginning of their misunderstanding, Hasan reacted to that reaction by saying that the IP owner is always correct if they don't want their videos reacted to, and would not react to Jay from then on. While not quite addressing the meat of Jay's criticism, he felt as though this was an adequate apology.
Several months later.
In early February, Jay releases a video about React content, using their Hasan Abi experience as a jumping off point for a broader discussion on the issue. Discourse happens. Dark Viper releases his manifesto. Discourse happens. As Dark Viper and Charlie are butting heads, Hasan reacts to all this ReactGate drama, claiming they won't watch Jay's video, feeling as though Jay is acting in bad faith, while asserting that Jay went on a bunch of 8-hour kill streams with a bunch of psychos, including Nazis, to bitch about him. What? As an occasional viewer and part-time Hasan Abi head, I can't believe I said that, I don't think the man is that dense. Some disagree. I watch him for the same reason I watch Stephen A. Smith on First Take, not necessarily for deep insightful commentary. I just enjoy certain personas and personalities. It's entertainment. So why would Hasan assume Jay is acting in bad faith? Because the video in question is fine. It's not as inflammatory or confusing like Dark Viper's 14-page manifesto, while the arguments and overall structure are pretty straightforward. Jay doesn't have a problem with React content. They draw comparisons to Jinx, a controversial React YouTuber from a few years ago, comment on Hasan's reaction or lack thereof, and then rebut common arguments defending this sort of behavior.
Maybe because I'm live for fucking 8 hours. Dude, what am I supposed to do? Die? Like, I don't understand.
And why they think Hasan tries to justify his actions, or why he conflates all this criticism as react harder. I still got some weird petty drama vibes during their video, but since Jay seemed reasonable and chill during some of their streams, I gave their content a shot to try and understand what got lost in translation.
You really are having a midlife crisis, huh?
J. Joe Jeans and his jelly beans. Hey, let's sing a song about Jay.
Hey, you know, I got a friend whose name begins with J too.
Is that right?
Oh yeah, let me tell you about her.
If you've dabbled in the film criticism sphere of YouTube, no doubt you've been recommended a Exci video at least once, as they cover popular TV series or movies. They built their channel making response videos to CinemaSins, branching out into doing their own critiques of media with a heavy focus primarily on storytelling and character writing. You get a lot of this thing is bad or wrong type videos, which isn't something that appeals to my sensibilities, although I can see how someone can find value in that style of criticism. They can be a bit obsessive depending on the subject matter and come across as very debate Lord Andy. If Jay thinks someone is making poor arguments, they'll seek to correct the record using facts and logic, applying the same methodology to everyone and everything, whether it's CinemaSins, No Bullshit, Doctor Who, or High Top Films. And I don't think that's warranted in some cases. Contrasting Jay's response to High Top Films' video about a Spider-Man to a different response video by Captain Midnight shows how a change in approach can be more constructive and foster healthy discussion even if they disagree about a movie. Whereas Captain Midnight tries to see where Marcus is coming from and explains why he disagrees with some of their points, Jay says, it's okay if you like a movie, but here's why you're wrong. I only have these 2 videos and some tweets to go off of. However, the sentiment of how to not criticize a movie, your arguments are wrong, strikes me as unnecessarily adversarial. Man's a filmmaker slash storyteller waxing poetic to express his feelings about a movie. The video is titled It Broke My Heart. Yeah, he's a bit melodramatic and I didn't agree with all his takes, but it's just one dude's perspective about a Spider-Man movie. There are ways to deliver criticism without seeming antagonistic. I am aware of the irony of all this meta criticism. It's just a vibe they give off sometimes. Most of their content is fine. I just wanted to get familiar with it. It's Habit 5 in the Stephen Covey book. Do I actually have the book? It's habit 5 in this book. With that awareness, I can understand that the snarkiness present in Jay's work is just their sense of humor, although others may interpret that as being childish or petty. If you respond to someone at first with a cheeky video satirizing their actions, they might be less charitable to you in the future. And then if you respond to that reaction in live streams and make another video months later, even if it's well reasoned, you've already set the precedent. You can't clown on someone and then expect them to take you seriously, especially if it's someone like Hasan. Man streams upwards of 8 hours a day covering politics, culture, news, some variety, and above all else, video games. Being terminally online in front of thousands of random Twitch chatters is his job, but being in this environment has its drawbacks. As a prominent political figure, he's a lightning rod for criticism, sometimes in good faith because he can't have doo-doo takes, and sometimes in bad faith because it's the internet and anyone can voice their opinions about anything.
It's like ruined me. People criticizing me when it's I can't distinguish between constructive and bad faith criticism at this point because it all looks bad faith.
Always being defensive is not a good place to be in. Who could possibly thrive doing what he does? Being online all day, processing all this information on the fly, dealing with random chatters, some of whom are there deliberately trying to provoke him, or it could be feeding him misinformation. Do this long enough and you're gonna have a wee bit of brain rot. On a long enough timeline, eventually you're gonna say some dumb shit. The vibes are fine when he's chilling out or hanging out with guests on stream. However, Mr. Piker is well known for losing his temper and is prone to getting angry during his broadcasts.
Do you know that other countries exist on the planet? Are you aware? Fuck!
It's fun when you're in the community memeing about him getting stunlocked and mauling at the chat. Although if you're unfamiliar with the man, watching just that leaves you with the impression that he's a big old meanie baby. With a temper like that, I wonder whether Hasan will ever find true love. Given everything I mentioned earlier about the nature of live streaming, it makes sense why Hasan is responding with react harder, because there have been times when he's done the same things Jay's taking issue with and then has made the reaction transformative. I know my source for this is Trust Me Bro, but I'm not digging through VODs. Even then, at worst, it's what? Kind of a shitty thing to do? Bad content to watch? Exploiting the labor of the content creator proletariat? I don't know, we've covered this. The details don't matter because it's one segment about D-tier drama over an issue he thinks was resolved months ago out of an 8-hour plus broadcast that will probably be forgotten about by next week because the content machine doesn't stop. There are other events to cover. Hasan is too big to fail. This seems like a convenient cop-out. Oh, he literally can't take criticism sometimes because of his temperament and environment. But this is merely an explanation, not a justification. On an emotional level, it makes sense. Logically, maybe less so. The irony of the whole situation being, Hasan didn't react hard enough when it came to the crux of Jay's arguments. Because once you step outside of that emotional sphere, the logic becomes suspect. Their arguments about clout chasing are pretty lame. When I think about clout chasing drama farmers, I'm picturing the Minecraft Steve Leafy is Here clones that are on YouTube, not the 5-hour Doctor Who video essayists or the GTA speedrunner guy. They fell off and need attention, but also their channels are doing just fine. I don't get it. How does one acquire clout? Seriously, I don't know. If anything, I should be farming drama instead of taking weeks to release videos. Claiming that Jay went on 8-hour live streams with Nazis was such a weird statement to make without any supporting evidence, so I tried a little fact checking. I believe the podcast he's referring to is called EFAP, or EFAP, that Jay frequently guests on. It's been memed on as that one podcast that did an 11-hour response to a Jenny Nicholson video. Nevertheless, I tried watching some of their content to judge it for myself.
I am having a very bad day. I am in no mood. This today is one of the worst days.
EFAP is like a long-form Discord chat discussion where they talk about movies or TV shows or reviews of movies and TV shows, constantly pausing the media to critique it or to go on long tangents about whatever. If you thought being blessed by the spirit of Pasanabi was frustrating, strap in. I can understand why some people dig it, as it's reminiscent of hanging out with your buddies to banter about movies or hot topics. Maybe you like the personalities, or maybe you like their analytical style. Yeah, it's long, but that really wasn't the main main issue for me. To be fair, there are segments that are harmless. They're fine. However, my initial impressions were that it's mean-spirited, negative, and somewhat toxic. The kind of content that leaves you feeling grimy, snobbish, overly critical, and deeply cynical. Bad vibes. Yes, you can break down and overanalyze everything, picking apart every sentence, every single phrase, pointing out flaws, contradictions, shortcomings, pausing after every little thing to go,
well, actually.
But this hyperfixation ends up diluting the overall analysis, effectively becoming noise. I could feel myself slowly dying. Oh my god. I found it remarkable how they are able to laser in and focus on the absolute minutia, yet be so rambly and unfocused at the same time, getting to a point where watching Hasan eating chicken nuggets is just as, if not more, engaging. It's pedantic nerd shit, unironically CinemaSins, not my thing, but enjoy what you want. So given that EFAP was that, I was curious about Hasan's claim of Nazi connections or why he might be throwing that out there. Now, while I can't vouch for every single guest or every interaction on the podcast, maybe I'm wrong, but that claim doesn't appear to be accurate. There were 2 EFAP episodes discussing Hasan specifically, except Jay was on neither. 2 of the guests on that episode have their own content discussing political issues from what looks like a right-wing perspective. EFAP does occasionally have those modern movies are bad now because they're woke or whatever. You know, those types. Whether that kind of content or the way it's delivered appeals to people with certain political leanings or is problematic or has the potential to lead them down rabbit holes is beyond the scope of this video. I don't know. EFAP has hosted a content creator known for putting anti-Semitism and Nazi propaganda within their reviews, something Hasan covered years ago. I found this video on the r/Destiny subreddit, which is pretty funny if you know the lore. For Jay, it's guilt by association. Although, if you're cool with hanging out in those circles with people who do that kind of content, it might not reflect well on you, whether that's fair or not. None of this had to happen though. If Jay was less of a little pisher and Hasan was less of a schmuck, they probably resolved their differences without silly drama. Look at Dark Viper and Moist Critical. They made out in like 2 days. No, they made up. Charlie was willing to reach out to Dark Viper and correct any false or misleading statements despite Mr. Viper's provocative rhetoric. True, the situations aren't exactly one-to-one, the latter being more politically charged given who's involved and what's being said. But holy shit, people, what are we doing? Oh my god. Yes, Hasan, you react so hard, baby. Hasan Abbey, 30-minute stun locks, wonderful. But that's not the issue. It's that sometimes you don't. In which case, you should probably do more to give proper credit or promote the content creator. Be a content cheerleader. Otherwise, it looks like you're just using the videos for yourself and something optics. Jay, I get the frustration feeling misrepresented with spurious claims, especially if it's by someone with a larger platform than you. But if it's any consolation, your video was well done and well received. Hasan should probably watch it. Not everyone in Hasan's community blindly follows him. And if some do, okay Jay, some 15-year-olds will think you associate with Nazis at least for another year until they outgrow Hasan's content. Wait, I sometimes watch Hasan. What's my age again? The aim should be mutual respect between all who dwell in content creator land. Streamers should aim to do less lazy react content because it's boring AF and can be a shitty practice.
Put some respect on my name.
Hasan should probably stream less and do more things that make him go, ah ha 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 ha, or whatever his laugh is. Politics is a rough business. Maybe get another doggy. I think that would be better for his mental. Jay should dial down the obsessive debate Lord Andy shtick, watch some weird art house movies that don't make sense, fall in love with the divine, and vibe out with his duck. DarkViperAU should get his manifestos proofread and probably stop making analogies forever. And Charlie, well, Charlie's fine. That was ReactGate. The main problem was that people reacted too hard in the wrong places. Everybody's out here taking L's, and I'm taking the biggest L for writing a goddamn essay about this. Ha, psych. The only L's we're taking today are the L's, is the L in love. I love you. Bye.
It doesn't matter what comes, fresh goes better in life, with Mentos fresh and full of life. Nothing gets to you, staying fresh, staying cool, with Mentos fresh and full of life. Fresh goes better, Mentos fresh goes better with Mentos fresh.
the Fresh Maker.